Hi, beautiful soul. Welcome back to Jotindi, Journey to the Inner Divine. Today, we're talking about something I know that many of you are feeling right now, that sense of being stuck. And I don't just mean stuck in your circumstances or stuck in a job you don't love. I'm talking about that deeper feeling when you know what you want to do, you know what you should be doing, but somehow you just can't. It's like you're moving through molasses. Everything feels so much heavier than it should. You sit down to work on that project, and suddenly you need to reorganize your closet. You want to move forward, but your body feels like it's glued to the couch. You have all these big ideas, but when it comes time to act, there's just nothing. Radio silence, energetic fog. Maybe you feel mentally scattered, like your thoughts are everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Or maybe you're not even mentally overwhelmed. Your mind is clear. You know what needs to happen. But energetically, you feel slowed down, heavy, or like you're trying to run underwater. And here's what I want you to know right from the start: feeling stuck is not a failure, it's not a character flaw, and it's not proof that you're lazy or broken or doing something wrong. Stuck is feedback. It's your body, your mind, your energy field trying to tell you something. And today, we're going to learn how to listen to that message and, more importantly, how to move through it. Welcome to Jotindi, Journey to the Inner Divine, a sacred space for healing energy, emotional release, and soulful transformation. If you're ready to live with joy, ease, and purpose, you're in the right place. Now, I want to be really clear about something before we dive in. The last few episodes we've done together have been pretty conceptual. We've talked about big ideas like flipping Maslow's pyramid, understanding resistance, and quantum healing. And I love those conversations. They are so important for shifting your perspective and understanding how energy actually works. But today is different. Today is about action. This episode is going to be practical and hands-on and immediately applicable. I'm going to give you real tools that you can use today, not someday when you feel more ready, but literally as soon as we're done talking. We're going to explore what stuck actually means energetically, why it happens, and most importantly, what you can do about it right now. No more theory, no more I'll try that later. We're getting into the messy, beautiful work of actually moving your energy. So if you're listening while you're doing the dishes or driving or folding laundry, that's perfect. But if you can, I want you to grab a journal or your phone's notes apps because you're going to want to capture some of these practices. My intention for you today is simple. By the end of the episode, I want you to feel lighter. I want you to have clarity about what's actually keeping you stuck. And I want you to have compassion for yourself and where you are. I want you to have actual, tangible tools that you can use to start moving that stuck energy immediately. So take a deep breath with me, put your hands on your heart if you can, and let's get you unstuck. Now, before we jump into the tools and practices, we do need to understand something really important. And that is that not all stuck is the same. I used to think that feeling stuck was just one thing, one big blockage that I needed to push through with sheer willpower. And when that didn't work, I would get frustrated with myself. And I would think, why can't I just do the dang thing? What is wrong with me? But what I've learned through my own healing journey and through working with my clients is that there's actually two distinct types of stuckness, and they require two distinct types of approaches. The first is mental or emotional stuckness. And this is when your thoughts are spinning, you're overwhelmed, you're anxious, you're caught in analysis paralysis. Your mind is the problem. It's either going a million miles an hour or it's completely shut down in freeze mode. The second type is energetic stuckness. And this one is a little bit sneakier because your mind might be totally clear. You might know exactly what you need to do. Like you're not feeling confused or overwhelmed, but your body feels real heavy. Your motivation is non existent. It's like there's an invisible weight holding you down and you can't quite figure out where it's coming from. These two types of stuckness feel different and they have different root causes. And most importantly, they need different solutions. So let's break them both down, and then I'm going to give you specific tools for each one. First, let's start with the mental and emotional stuckness, because this is probably the one that most of us are more familiar with. This is where your mind is the battlefield. You're overthinking everything. You're caught in loops of what if and what about this or what about that. And you're thinking, I just don't know how. You might be paralyzed by perfectionism, like you can't start because you don't know the right way to do it. You're drowning in options and you can't choose because what if you choose wrong? Sometimes this shows up as anxiety. Your nervous system is activated, your thoughts are racing, and your body might feel jittery or tense. You're actually in fight or flight mode, and your brain is trying to think its way out of a perceived danger. And this is the kind of stuck that I historically lived in. My mind would go everywhere and nowhere all at once, racing thoughts, but nothing helpful, constant distractions, and finding every reason why things won't work or why they're not good enough. Other times, this can show up as a freeze, like your mind just goes blank. You sit down to work and suddenly you can't think of a single thing to do. And it's not that you don't care, it's just that your system has shut down as a protective mechanism. Mental and emotional stuckness often comes from fear, a fear of failure, a fear of judgment, sometimes a fear of success, or just a fear of the unknown. It can come from overwhelm. And this is the one that I used to default to. Too many choices, too many tasks, too much information, too much to do, and I'm not knowing where to start. And this can show up as perfectionism or the belief that if you can't do it perfectly, you shouldn't do it at all. Or it can be past trauma, your nervous system remembering a time when taking action wasn't safe. And you often try to solve this by thinking harder. Mental stuckness is a thought pattern, it's not a soul level block. So getting out of it requires practical tools and mindset shifts. So, tool number one is the brain dump. This is one of the simplest and most effective practices I know. When your mind is spinning with thoughts and worries and to dos and fears, you need to get them out of your head and onto paper. So, here's how you do it: you grab a journal or a piece of paper and set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes. Write down everything that's in your head and don't filter it. Don't organize it. Don't make it make sense. Just let it pour out. If you're worried about money, write it down. If you're anxious about that conversation you need to have, write it down. Random thoughts about needing to buy groceries, write it down. All of it, every single thought. And what this does is it creates space in your mind. When everything is swirling around in your head, it all feels equally urgent and important. But when you see it on paper, you can start to sort through it. You can see what's actually actionable and what's just noise. And this is also a technique that I used to retrain my brain when I was having trouble falling asleep. I kept a journal by my bed, and if my mind started racing when I was trying to go to sleep, I would write it down and remind myself that I can return to it in the morning. There was no worry of forgetting anything overnight because it's now all safely out on paper. And after your brain dump, you can take a breath and look at what you wrote. You can highlight or circle the things that you need to take action on today. Everything else can wait. And if this is right before bed, it all waits. Tool number two is the one thing practice. When you're overwhelmed by everything that you need to do, your brain shuts down because it doesn't know where to start. So we're going to make it ridiculously simple. Ask yourself, what is one thing that I can do in the next 10 minutes that would move me forward? Not 5 things, not everything on your list, just one small, manageable action. And it doesn't have to move you forward leaps and bounds either. A little bit is okay. Maybe it's sending one email. Maybe it's writing one paragraph. Maybe it's making one phone call. Or maybe it's literally just opening the document that you've been avoiding. Do that one thing and then celebrate it because action creates momentum and momentum dissolves that feeling of being stuck. And you don't have to do everything today. You just have to do one thing. Tool number 3 is clear the mental clutter. Here's something that I've learned about mental clutter. A huge part of what's weighing down your mind isn't the big, complex tasks. It's the tiny things that you keep telling yourself, I'll get to it later. Respond to that text, pay that bill, send that email, water the plants. Each one is small, but when you have 20 of them floating around in your head, they create this constant background noise that drains your mental energy. So here's the rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Don't add it to the list. Don't save it for later. Just get it done right now. It won't take that long. Just get it out of the way. This practice is incredible for clearing the mental clutter because every time you complete one of these micro tasks, you're closing an open loop in your brain, and your mind can finally stop using energy to remember it. So try this. Right now, think of 3 things that have been nagging at you that would take you less than 2 minutes. Maybe it's throwing away the piece of mail on the counter, or maybe it's responding to a message, or putting something back where it belongs. Now go do those 3 things and then come back to the episode. Notice how you feel afterward. Lighter, right? That's what happens when you stop carrying the mental clutter. Your brain has space to actually think, create, and move forward instead of constantly managing a mental to-do list. Tool 4 is what if it goes right? Reframe. So much mental stuckness comes from this fear-based thinking. Your mind is catastrophizing. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if it doesn't work? So we're going to flip the script. Every time you catch yourself in a what if this goes wrong spiral, stop and ask, but what if it goes right? What if people love it? What if it's exactly what I need to do? What if I'm more capable than I think I am? And what if this opens doors that I can't even imagine yet? Your brain doesn't really know the difference between a real threat and an imagined one. So if you're going to imagine outcomes, try to imagine positive ones and see what happens. Give your nervous system permission to feel safe moving forward. And tool number 5, the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. When anxiety has you spinning and you can't think straight, this practice brings you back to the present moment. So name out loud or in your mind 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste, even if it's just your own saliva. This pulls you out of your anxious thoughts and it anchors you in your physical reality. You're reminding your nervous system, I'm here, I'm safe, I'm in this moment. So, the key takeaway for all of this is that your mind is trying to protect you, but it's not always accurate about what's actually dangerous. These tools are going to help you calm your nervous system, clear out the mental clutter, and take small, manageable actions that create momentum so you don't have to fix everything all at once. You just have to take the next right step. Now let's talk about the second type, the energetic stuckness. And this one can be really confusing because on the surface, it doesn't make sense. Your mind is clear, you're not anxious or overwhelmed, you know exactly what you need to do, you might even be excited about it. But when it comes time to actually doing the thing, your body feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. You have zero motivation, you feel sluggish or heavy or like you're moving through fog. You sit down at your desk and suddenly you feel exhausted. You think about starting that project and your whole body just says no. Not in an anxious way, but in like a flat, depleted way. It's like someone turned down your internal dimmer switch and you're running on 20% power. Some more examples are low motivation, heaviness, or I just can't kind of feelings. Fatigue that isn't resolved by rest. Not depressed, but just slowed down. feeling disconnected from your inner spark. It's not about your thoughts or your emotions. It's about the actual energy in your body and field being blocked, stagnant, or depleted. This is a nervous system or soul signal. It's not a mindset issue. Energetic stuckness often comes from absorbing other people's energy, like people you've been around who are draining and you kind of took on their heaviness. It could be unprocessed emotions that you're stored in the body, old grief, anger, or trauma that's creating an energetic congestion. A lack of energetic boundaries, like you're giving too much and you're not refilling your own cup. It could be disconnection from your body, spending too much time in your head and not enough time grounded in your physical form, or from energetic cords and attachments to people, situations, or even old versions of yourself. And also, it could be from not honoring your needs and desires and trying to force yourself to push on when you know you need to change directions or take some rest time. So, how do you move through this energetic stuckness? Here's the tools. Tool number one is somatic shaking. This is actually what I did before starting this episode. Sometimes stuck energy is literally trapped in your body, and the fastest way to release it is through movement. This is especially true if you've been sedentary, sitting at a desk, or holding tension without realizing it. And how you do it is very simple. You stand up and you gently start shaking your body. You start with your hands and then your arms and then your shoulders and let it move through your whole body. Just shake for 1 to 3 minutes and let it be weird. Let it be messy. Bounce and wiggle and let your whole body move. You can also try jumping, dancing wildly to silly music, or even just doing some big stretches and movements. And what you're doing here is you're literally shaking the stuck energy loose. Animals do this instinctively after a stressful event, like being chased by a predator. They shake it off to complete their stress cycle. We have just forgotten how. We don't want to look silly or we don't want to be judged, so we have quit doing this. After you shake, you can pause and notice how you feel. You might feel lighter or more awake or more present, and that's your energy moving again. Tool number two is breath work for energy movement. Your breath is one of the most powerful tools for moving energy through your system. When energy is stuck, your breathing often becomes shallow. You're literally not bringing enough life force into your body. So here's a simple practice. Sit or stand comfortably and place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Take a deep breath in through your nose for the count of 4, letting your belly expand. Hold it in for a count of 4, and then exhale through your mouth for a count of 6, making an audible sigh or ha sound. Repeat this 5 or 10 rounds. And the exhale here is key. This is when you're releasing that stuck energy. The sigh sound helps it move out even more effectively. And if you want to go deeper, you can try adding in a visualization. As you breathe in, imagine a bright light filling your body. And as you breathe out, imagine any heaviness or darkness flowing out and into the earth to be transformed. Tool number 3 is the energetic shower visualization. Sometimes we carry energy that's not really ours. Maybe we've absorbed it from somebody else's stress or anxiety or heaviness, and now it's weighing you down. So, how you're going to clear it is close your eyes and take a few deep breaths and visualize a cascade of brilliant or golden light pouring down over you like a waterfall or a shower. See this light washing through your entire body and energy field, dissolving anything that isn't yours. Imagine it washing away stress and heaviness and other people's emotions, anything that doesn't belong to you. Watch it all flow down and into the earth where it can be neutralized and transformed. Continue this practice until you feel lighter and clearer. And you can do this anywhere, even in an actual shower. I like doing this practice in the evening before bed to clear anything that I picked up during the day or after being around someone who's particularly draining. Tool number 4 is the energy reclamation practice. This one is really good. When you're feeling energetically stuck or depleted, it's often because your energy is scattered and all over the place. You've left little pieces of yourself in past conversations or in future worries or other people's problems or old situations that have been over for a long time. This practice is about calling your energy back home to you. And here's how. You're going to sit quietly and place both hands on your heart. Take a few deep breaths and close your eyes. Visualize all the places that your energy is currently scattered. Maybe it's with someone you had a difficult conversation with. Maybe it's stuck in worry about tomorrow. Maybe it's tangled up in something that happened years ago. Now imagine all of that energy as a golden light beginning to return to you. Visualize it flowing back into your body like streams of light coming home. As it returns, say either out loud or in your mind, I call all of my energy back to me. I reclaim my power. I am whole and complete. And feel yourself filling back up and becoming more present, more solid, more you. This isn't about pushing anyone away or cutting ties. It's simply about gathering yourself back together so that you have the energy that you need to move forward. And tool number 5, we have a body scanning and intentional movement. Your body holds so much wisdom, but when you are energetically stuck, you've often disconnected from it. This practice helps you reconnect and identify where that stuckness actually lives in your body. You're going to sit down or lie down and close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Notice a pattern here. That breathing is super important. And start at the top of your head. Slowly scan down through your body and notice where you feel tension or heaviness. Maybe it's numbness or discomfort. And don't try to fix it, just notice it and try and breathe into that area. Once you've scanned your whole body, go back to the places that felt stuck and ask your body, what do you need right now? Then move intuitively. Maybe you need to stretch that area or massage it. Maybe you need to shake it out or breathe into it. Your body knows what it needs to release stuck energy. You just have to listen and then honor what it's asking for. And there's also bonus tool number 6, and this is a grounding practice. Sometimes our stuckness happens because you're not grounded. You're floating around in your head or in your energy field, disconnected from your physical body and the earth. If you can, go outside and stand barefoot in the earth. I'm sure you've heard that saying lately, go touch grass. That's a real thing, and it actually helps. If you can't do that, it's okay. But feel your feet on the ground and really feel them. Imagine roots growing from the soles of your feet down deep into the earth. Visualize any stuck, excess, heavy energy flowing down through these roots and into the earth. And at the same time, imagine drawing up a grounding, stable, nourishing energy from the earth into your body. Stand or sit like this for 2 to 5 minutes, just breathing and exchanging energy with the earth. Grounding is like plugging yourself back in. When you're grounded, energy can flow through you instead of getting stagnant and stuck in you. So, the key takeaway for this energetic stuckness is that your body is an energy system. And sometimes the system can get kind of clogged or depleted or tangled up with energy that isn't yours. These tools are going to help you clear the channels and release what doesn't belong to you and get your energy moving freely again. When your energy moves, you move. And I wanted to share my own personal experience with you because I think it will help you understand how differently these 2 types of stuckness really are. So for years, and I do mean years, I lived in mental and emotional stuckness constantly. I was always overwhelmed, always anxious, always spiraling. My nervous system was completely dysregulated because I was either in an emotionally abusive relationship or fresh out of one, trying to piece my life back together. My mind never stopped. I would wake up anxious about the day ahead. I couldn't make decisions because I was constantly second guessing everything. I felt like I was drowning in my own thoughts, constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. And back then, these tools for mental stuckness, the brain dumps, the grounding techniques, the nervous system regulation, those were life-saving for me. I had to learn how to calm my mind and how to feel safe in my own body again because I wasn't really safe in my environment. And these tools were what I used to help me get through it. But here's what's really interesting. Once I found my center and I left toxic relationships behind me altogether, I was able to find a partner who was actually healthy and supportive. I did the deep work, healing my nervous system, and that mental stuckness mostly resolved. I got my anxiety under control. My mind became clearer. I could think and plan and move forward without that constant background noise of fear. So imagine my confusion when recently I started feeling stuck again. But this time it felt different. This time I have a solid plan for my business. I have support. I have amazing tools and amazing people helping me. I don't feel overwhelmed at all. I'm not anxious and I know exactly what I need to do. But my body felt sluggish and heavy, like I was moving through mud. I would sit down to work and I would just feel flat, no energy, no spark, even though mentally I was excited about what I was creating. This was my energetic stuckness, and it required a completely different approach. I tried that somatic shaking practice. I literally just stood up and I shook my body for a few minutes, and it helped so much. I felt lighter and more awake, more like myself, and I was able to get some work done. But instead of pushing through until I had to peel myself away, I allowed myself to do an appropriate amount of work and then take a break when I noticed the quality of my work starting to suffer. And you know what? A few days later, I realized I was coming down with a cold. You might be able to hear it a little bit in my voice. My body had been trying to tell me something all along, that the energetic stuckness was partly my system saying, hey, slow down. We're fighting something off here. And here's what I want you to hear. If I had tried to handle the energetic stuckness the way that I used to handle my mental stuckness, by pushing harder and forcing action and white knuckling my way through, I would have made myself much sicker and accomplished nothing of quality anyway. Learning to recognize the difference between these two types has changed everything for me. And that's what I want for you too. That's why I'm making this episode. Now, why we get stuck. This is going to dive a little bit deeper into the roots of the issue. Mental stuckness often comes from fear of making the wrong choice. It can come from old programming, from people pleasing, self doubt, or lack of clarity. All of these things can be the root cause of your mental stuckness. And energetic stuckness can come from things like nervous system exhaustion, emotional residue that you haven't released, trying to force something before you're really aligned, being out of sync with your natural rhythm, or carrying other people's energy. And trauma, of course, we have to touch on trauma, is a tricky thing because it creates both mental and energetic stuckness, and often at the same time. On the mental level, trauma can create a hypervigilance and a constant overthinking, like your brain is trying to predict the next danger and prevent it from happening. It can create a freeze response where your mind just goes blank and you can't think or decide anything. It can create a negative core belief about yourself or others or the world, and difficulty in trusting yourself or others. And on an energetic level, trauma creates stored tension and unprocessed emotions that get locked in your body. Nervous system dysregulation that makes it hard to feel safe or to move forward. Energetic patterns where you feel like your field is constantly braced for impact. And a disconnection from your body because it doesn't feel safe to be fully present in it. And this is why, if you've experienced a trauma, you might need to use tools from both of these categories. And you might need to work with your thoughts and with your body, and to calm your nervous system and clear your stuck emotions. You might actually need mental clarity and an energetic release. Healing isn't linear, and sometimes getting unstuck means addressing multiple layers at once with compassion and patience. But the good news, now that you understand the deeper roots of your stuckness, you can choose the right tools for what you're actually dealing with. You're not just throwing random solutions at the wall and hoping one works. You're responding intelligently to what your mind, your body, and your energy are actually asking for. So, how can you tell which one you're in? Sometimes it can be kind of confusing to differentiate between them. If it's mental, you might be saying things like, I don't know what to do. What if I choose wrong? Or simply, I'm overwhelmed. If it's energetic, you might be saying things like, I know what to do, I just can't seem to do it. My body feels heavy or something feels off. Listen for these types of thoughts because they're very clear indicators of which type of stuck you're in right now. And the spiritual truth is that stuckness isn't always a terrible thing. Often it is a sacred pause. You can reframe your stuck as a transitional space. The universe often slows us down before we have a breakthrough or a shift or a leveling up. Being energetically stuck is often a preparation, not a punishment. This could be a sacred pause to allow space to make way for what's coming. So just remember, healing doesn't always mean constant momentum. So let's bring this all home. If you're feeling stuck right now, whether it's mental, emotional, or energetic, I want you to remember this. Being stuck is not a permanent state. Stuck is just energy that needs to move, thoughts that need to be cleared, or a body that needs to be heard. Now that you have these practical tools for both types of being stuck, you don't have to figure this out through willpower alone. You have a roadmap now. When your mind is spinning, brain dump. Focus on one thing, ground yourself, reframe the fear, clear the mental clutter. When your energy feels heavy, shake it loose, breathe through it, clear what isn't yours, reclaim your scattered energy, and listen to your body. And remember that if you've experienced trauma, you might need to be doing all of these things from both sides of the list. Be patient with yourself, be compassionate. Healing isn't about doing it perfectly, it's about showing up for yourself with the right tools and the willingness to try. So here's what I want you to do this week. Pick one tool from this episode that resonated with you, and it can be just one, and try it. See what shifts. Notice how you feel, and then maybe try another one. But you don't have to do all of this at once. You just have to start moving the energy, one small step at a time. Now, if you're feeling stuck and you're realizing that part of the issue is that you don't have clarity on where you are or where you're headed, I have a free resource for you. It's called the Clarity Map, and it's designed to help you get clear on exactly where you are right now and where you want to go. And it's even going to offer you some guidance about how to actually get there. Sometimes stuckness is just confusion in disguise, and the Clarity Map helps you cut through that fog and see your path more clearly. You can get yours at mariahaurora.com/freebie/clarity. And there's also a link in the show notes. And if you want ongoing support as you work through this getting unstuck, I would love to invite you to join my free Facebook group. It's a beautiful community of women who are all on their own healing journeys, supporting each other, sharing insights, and celebrating wins. You don't have to do this alone. The link is in the show notes as well. And before we close, I want to take one deep breath with you. Put your hand on your heart if you can and repeat after me, either aloud or in your mind. I am not stuck. I am in process. My energy is moving, and I trust myself to take the next right step. You've got this. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're just learning how to work with your mind, your body, and your energy instead of against them. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And thank you for doing this work and trusting me to walk alongside you on this journey. And don't forget, there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path.